Hey there, and thank you for clicking on this video. Today I am talking about something that is a huge debate in the music community, and it really goes back and forth, but I am going to be talking about how Spotify, or if Spotify, is destroying the music industry as we all know it. Doomsday stuff. Doomsday level stuff, guys. Is the music industry going to survive this? Is physical media going to survive this? All the things that people that use Spotify, like me, and probably you if you don't live under a rock. So I thought that I would talk a little bit more about the debate and give you my opinion and see where that takes us. If you're a music nerd like me, you've probably had this conversation a million times, but now I'm going to have it with you. So let's freaking do it. Let's get into the video. Like I said before, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy Claire, and I am so glad that you decided to join me. If this is your first time seeing my face, then welcome, and if not, then welcome back. I am so glad you decided to join me today. But today's topic is pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. I thought I would run through quickly the case for Spotify and streaming, the case against both those things, and then sort of give you a rundown of my opinion about each of those things and whether or not there's any hope. I don't know, but wait till the end of the video to find out what I think, I guess. First, I want to say that this video is definitely inspired by a video that I saw on the channel Rocked. I will link that video in the description down below so that you can go and check out that video. It is super informative about this topic. I would definitely recommend that you watch it if you find this topic interesting, or if you want a little bit more in-depth information on the sort of data, I would say, like the facts and figures type of information about Spotify and the way that they pay artists and all that kind of stuff. The streaming platform Spotify started around 2008 and has been going pretty strong ever since then. Spotify's CEO is Daniel Ek, and he has been running Spotify since 2006. They hit their decade mark in 2018, and lots of news channels did exposés during their decade year talking about the way that streaming has affected the music industry and artists and the way we listen to music as a whole. So if you are interested in these topics, I definitely recommend going and checking out those articles. I have my handy dandy notepad here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. As far as the case for Spotify, there is no question that Spotify democratized music for both the listener and the artist. And despite my livid hatred of those ads, listening to Spotify free is really powerful because you can access a large library of music for free, which has not been true in the past, especially with physical media, which was very much centered on buying and purchasing in record stores and CD stores and, you know, the whole shebang. By making streaming so accessible, Spotify has definitely democratized music in a way that has definitely expanded the audience that can listen to every single type of music that they'd like to, and that's super cool. They've also revolutionized the way that artists interact with publishing their music. There are definitely companies that will help independent artists publish their music on Spotify. Spotify's ability to give independent artists access to larger audiences is actually very cool. There's also a way that Spotify has changed what we listen to and what is popular. Because there is so much more access to music, there is more access to music from all different parts of the world. Pop music is getting global influences. That is a very cool revolutionization of music as we listen to it and as we hear it as a society. There's also the issue of playlists and music suggestions, which on one hand are very, very cool and interesting. They allow Spotify to push you new artists and new things to listen to all the time based on your interests. They allow you to capture a mood or a purpose, like if you're wanting to work out and you need music that is specifically for that. Playlists are very powerful ways of interacting with music and different artists. That being said, playlists are a perfect way to transition into the case against Spotify. So on the topic of playlists, I read about 300 articles about how playlists are destroying the way that we listen to music and the way that the music industry produces music for listeners. I don't know, maybe you have already some inclinations of why this is or what's happening, but let me deep dive into it just a little bit for you. Spotify playlists have basically destroyed the album. And by that, I mean that Spotify is no longer interested in selling an artist's entire work as an album to you, the consumer. So they put playlists together to grab your attention for 30 seconds at least, but you're not ever listening to the content that that artist has put together and intended for you to listen to in that order. And you may not get the taste of an album from one song. You definitely won't get it from the song that the industry chooses as a single. Often the real art of an artist is on their album. And so the industry has begun to change because of how scarily low our attention spans are when it comes to listening to music. For music listeners and audiophiles alike, Spotify is the ultimate music quality killer. And what I mean by that is streamed music is so compressed. I suppose if you've never heard the depth on a vinyl record that is meant to be recorded on a vinyl record, then you'll not really know what I'm talking about. But Spotify and streamed music is so compressed, the audio files are so compressed, that it loses a ton of the original sound quality that it should have if you were listening to it live or in studio. Your ears can comprehend such a larger amount of hertz than Spotify gives you. And honestly, there is a Spotify setting where you can turn up the level of audio quality. I've tried this and it gets super slow. So it's not really a useful function for people that like to stream music in playlists and listen to music when they're walking or on the go. It takes forever to load music in between and it takes a ton of storage on your device. I don't recommend it. So there is that. If you're an audiophile, Spotify is kind of the killer of your joy as far as music goes. In addition to changing the way that albums and artists function in general, Spotify is also painfully capitalist. They really only recommend to you big artists from huge record labels, and otherwise you have to find independent music on your own. And that's really, really problematic. If you went to a record store and you flipped through all the bins and you figured that you might try this one artist because you like the cover or you know one of their songs so you'll listen to the whole album, that was wholeheartedly supporting a diversification of your interests and expanding your attention span to listen to new and different kinds of music. In a way, Spotify is kind of promoting half listening to music while you're doing something else, not really appreciating the music itself. You're doing something else, you're cleaning the house, you're working out and listening to music at the same time, and not really paying attention to the artistry and the long hours that the artist has spent cultivating an album, a piece of art for you. There are artists that are no longer recording albums, like releasing EPs and singles instead of releasing full albums. It's personally sad for me to see a whole industry debased down to just what is financially efficient. The last point that I think is really relevant about Spotify is that they are not great about paying their artists. I saw this graph, which I will put up on the screen. I saw this graph which pointed out to me something very depressing. First being that 20% of the music streaming revenue goes to the platform itself. Then 45% of that money that they make goes to the label. The most depressing part of all of this is that you can see on that graph 10% goes to songwriters and publishers, and only 6.8% of the money made goes to the artist themselves. It is so hard to see the music industry taking such advantage of artists when they are getting thousands, if not millions, of streams on a song that they have put their heart and soul into, and then getting 6.8% of that money It is the most capitalist system I can think of, and I just hope that someday we can get back to a system where the artist is appreciated, and I actually don't know if that system ever existed. I think the music industry has always taken advantage of artists, unless they are the top 1% of artists that somehow make it through. Spotify and streaming is not going away anytime soon, and that's not the point of this video. It's really not trying to say that you shouldn't listen to Spotify or you can't listen to Spotify and streaming. Spotify is absolutely wonderful for the individual consumer and absolutely awesome for the listener. There is definitely so many advantages to having thousands, millions of songs even at your fingertips, clickable at any second to listen to whenever you want to listen to it. If I'm being honest, do I love the topical Spotify playlist? Absolutely. But do I feel like it removes some of the choice that I want to make when I want to put on an album and listen to the whole album all the way through? Absolutely. I think that there's something powerful about physical media that we have forgotten about in our race for efficiency and convenience, that is lost in Spotify and Apple Music and streaming services like Tidal and all those. That's my full opinion, folks, and I know you're probably tired of hearing my voice and looking at my face, so I will wrap it up, as they say. If this is the first time you are seeing my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos coming from my channel. Please subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer Spotify, streaming, or physical media and records or CDs or cassettes or something like that. I would really love to know out of my viewers who are the streaming people and who are the physical media people. Or if you're somewhere in the middle, don't be afraid to be one of those and but people. With all that being said, I think that is the end of this video. Yes, we are finally at the end. I'll see you next week.